What kind of driving instructor is this? I failed my driving test twice and then stopped for 2 years. I just never liked driving, and I know that driving is an essential driving life skill. Everyone is nagging me to get my driving done, and now I am going to do it. I go online and I find a driving instructor, and I am a bit nervous again, but this time I really want to do it. It's not the driving instructor but the driver in my opinion, and I hope I can pass this time. I remember the driving instructor revving his car and popping up into my home. His car had bullet holes and was all pimped out. "Get in, man, time for your driving lesson," he told me. He definitely looked like the kind of guy who has been in some serious things like gang warfare, shootouts and killings. He straight told me that my driving was shit and that I needed to go start speeding right now. So I started speeding and he told me off for not looking out for the police. He then started to tell me a story. I know a woman who went out with the most positive man in the world. When she heard about the most positive man in the world, she wanted to meet him. She was shocked to see that he was miserable and he could be the most positive man in the world. When she slept with him, she fell ill straight away and the doctor told her that she is positive for everything. Then she realized, this guy is the most positive man in the world, not for being happy, but for having everything. Every virus and disease, and the driving instructor started laughing. Then he told me to stop at a place and he got out. He was talking to someone and then he got his gun out and shot the guy. He then got into the car and told me to drive fast, and he told me that the first rule of driving is driving fast. He then told me to follow a certain car and then he told me to hit it with the car I was driving. I did hit the car with my car and then he got out of the car and shot the driver and the passenger. At this point I was like, what kind of driving instructor is this? Then he told me to stop behind a bank and he went into the bank through the front. He then got out of there with bags of money and he told me to drive fast. Then I was driving on some empty road and it was silent until he told me another story. A guy said to a famous celebrity scientist in physics that next week all the stars are going to go out. He was laughed at by the celebrity famous physicist. The guy kept saying to the famous celebrity physicist that all the stars are going to go out next week. The famous celebrity physicist said that there are billions of years still left before the stars go out. Then next week a newspaper's article comes out with all the stars that have been accused of sexual and improper behavior, including the famous celebrity physicist. The physicist finally knew what guy had meant by the stars going out. That was the end of that driving lesson.